I just moved to Miami, so it's much easier to get a feel and a pulse on the city and the Dolph fam on how they feel about their new head coach, and the city is electric. So naturally, I had to look a lot more into it because I knew of Mike McDaniel's and as he was spotlighted more throughout this season, and his coaching situation started to heat up. And after doing a deep dive into his history and his track record, I am right along on the hype train and think this could be a career-changing move for young Dolphins quarterback Tua. And we could spend a lot of time talking about the Brian Flores situation, but why I haven't talked about it yet and why I'm not going to discuss it in this video is because I want to deal with absolutes. I want to know when known and when things are positive. It's not looking great because this is a really big deal. But in today's video, we are going to be focusing on Mike McDaniel's and what his impact is going to be on this Dolphins team. First of all, I want to start out with people's main criticism, and that is that he hasn't played a down of collegiate or professional football. And I don't think that could be less important, and this argument doesn't have much to stand on at all because his resume speaks for itself in his 16 years as a coach in the NFL. And how many NFL players went to Yale and are able to create and scheme at the level he's able to do and has the intelligence he does. So let's talk about his resume, and more specifically, how quarterbacks have performed when he comes onto their coaching staff and his ingenuity to incorporate the best athletes onto his team in the offense in creative ways, i.e. Deebo Samuel and George Kittle for the 49ers and Julio Jones with the Atlanta Falcons. He started his coaching career in 2005 with the Denver Broncos as the interim coach under Mike Shanahan. Then he moved to the Houston Texans in 2006 as an offensive assistant, where he was first on the same coaching staff with Kyle Shanahan. And then he was paired with the father and son duo in Washington, and he continued to gain experience and really started to find his niche, not only in the offensive side of the ball, but more specifically in the run game. But then he went on to Washington and Cleveland, where he also got some experience being the wide receivers coach. And before we get into depth, I want to talk about what he brings to the Dolphins, which I think is going to be massive for the organization. And it is his uncanny ability to see the talent he has in front of him and get the absolute most out of them. And this isn't him just having a wealth of talent at running back like Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, or Nick Chubb, but it's getting guys like Alfred Morris, Raheem Mostert, Matt Breida, Tevin Coleman, Jeff Wilson, Jerick McKinnon, Elijah Mitchell, and Deebo Samuel to get the absolute most value out of them, and all of these guys having career years who seem to be a long list of revolving doors of the incredibly efficient seasons for the 49ers under his running scheme. And whether you want to credit Kyle Shanahan as well, because I do think Kyle is a great coach, but the smartest leaders in the world know what they know, and they are great at having smart people around them in areas that they just aren't as good in, which is why I love Mike McDaniel's kept defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, Josh Boyer, on the staff, because this is the obvious strength of the Dolphins. And he brought in John Embry, tight end coach for the 49ers, who has had so much success with Kittle over the past 5 years and will be looking to do much of the same with Mike Gesicki and Durham. Now let's look at exactly how he has gotten the best out of his 49ers team. And it really starts to come down to different types of running backs they've had success with. They had a year 7 Alfred Morris who came into the league running a 4.67 40-yard dash, and they were able to design plays to get him downfield quick with a one cut to punish linebackers and get consistent yards. They also had guys like Raheem Mostert and Elijah Mitchell, the latter being the highest drafted player in the 6th round, but guys who ran 4.32 40-yard dashes, and they schemed outside zone and toss plays like this to get them to play into their strengths. And using these speedy backs, what the Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniels have been running in their run scheme for years is these toss sweep plays that are much more like an outside zone, because it takes everything you know about a toss sweep and completely throws it out of the window for the defense. Because on this play, when you're getting a toss sweep to the left, you expect the running back to try and get all the way out to the boundary and use his speed, but that's not how they're blocking this at all. They have the tight end, they have Juszczyk coming down, and they're making a sealed lane. They're going to have Deebo Samuel right here and come kick this out and make a very natural running lane. And this commits a safety or a nickel or a corner to play outside leverage because they think it's going to be a toss sweep, but this actually leverages in perfectly to exactly what the 49ers are trying to do. And instead of the running back getting the ball like 2 yards from the line of scrimmage, he's getting it 5-6 yards deep, which leads to a lot more naturally running lanes and ability to cut back. If the defense overcommits to the pass or to the run sweep, they're going to be able to cut it back and have a lot more time to do so because they're not pressed up right on the line of scrimmage. And another thing we're going to mention is Kyle Juszczyk just absolutely pancake someone, and this has been a huge staple of this 49ers offense, and I want to talk about a guy that I think could be used in a very similar manner. And you heard it here first. If the Dolphins pick in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round this guy named Xander Horvath, the 6'3", 230-pound starting running back from Purdue, you heard it here first, because he is a Kyle Juszczyk replacement for this Dolphins team, because what he's able to do is not only lead block on inside runs, but he's able to be fast enough to get on the outside to lead, and he's also a huge part of the passing game, which Kyle Juszczyk is often used in because he is able to do this. But again, just another example of them getting the toss sweep, getting the lane more like an outside run, that he's able to cut it back. And this is Elijah Mitchell with his 4.3 speed. And instead of on a normal toss play where everyone's going to try and leverage and steal the edge of somewhere, the only person that's actually doing this is the right guard. He's going to squeeze down and leverage and create this hole, but everyone else is washing off to the left. And how this sets up is so beautiful. So it's not a toss sweep. It's really more of an outside zone, but getting the ball to the running back much faster. And you see these natural running lanes that when you have these 4.3 speed guys, you're able to find creases, create the small holes. But then you see in the Cowboys game, their opening drive of the playoff, we have Kyle Juszczyk leading the way, getting out on a corner, and they're all compact in the middle, and you're just able to make this to the outside. So this is a huge part, and having a guy like Myles Gaskin is going to be perfect, but expect a lot of Dolphins running backs to get a ton of touches and be another revolving door of a place you want to go to have a career year under Mike McDaniel's running schemes. And then I already did a film analysis on Deebo Samuel in early November, showing all their creative ways that they started to use him, but it only got better as the season went on. But just to show a few quick examples that they used them in, and this is where I could see the Dolphins doing some variation with this with their best offensive player, Jaylen Waddle. And I cannot wait to see how Mike McDaniels is going to use Jaylen Waddle. This is Deebo Samuel. He started right here in the backfield, but he's going to motion out right here. There's a lot of things you can do. You can have Trey Lance run a little draw play, but what we see is we don't see anyone following out Deebo Samuels. And look at this. Who's our X receiver right now? We have Kyle Juszczyk, and he's going to be out here to block a corner. And right now, you just have the numbers. Get Deebo Samuel in open space. Get your best player the ball. You have the running threat initially when he starts out in the backfield, but it just gets all that more complicated when he gets out there, and you have the numbers, and you're able to get a huge touchdown late in the game like they did here against Seattle. And the 49ers in their run game use more motion than anything. And this is all distraction. You can run a lot of plays off this like jet sweep, but all this is going to do is just freeze the linebackers just enough where they're not going to be able to go to the outside. We're going to give the sweep off to Deebo Samuel. He's going to take up off the outside, but look for the Dolphins to draft very athletic, very versatile people. So watch this right tackle right here. He's going to pull and lead the way, and this is just so beautiful. And this could be Jaylen Waddle in the backfield right now, because I don't see him running in between the tackles as much as Deebo Samuel does, but once he's able to get out in space, you're going to be able to freeze the linebackers just enough to leverage it, get your tackle out in space. He's going to be out there on a corner, and then you're going to be able to take it up the sideline. I cannot wait to see how the Dolphins use Jaylen Waddle in this new system. Now, we did do a lot of emphasis on the run game, which is his best strength, but it's just not the run game. He did work with the receivers, which led quarterbacks like Matt Ryan and Jimmy G to have career years when he first got there to the respective franchises. But so much of the Shanahan and McDaniels remix offense has to do with the performance of the offensive line. And to call a spade, the Dolphins' offensive line is just bad. And I guarantee you this will be the first order of business and the first thing Mike McDaniels is going to want to address in his first offseason and NFL draft as a head coach, which leads us to Tua, who I have consistently said people are giving up on way too fast. He doesn't have the big arm like a Justin Herbert, but he's shown he can run an offense just as well as Jimmy G can, and his accuracy extends even better down the sidelines and over 20 plus yards. I think this is the absolute perfect hire for the Dolphins because he's going to come in and correct their weaknesses and let his assistants and coordinators continue to coach the strengths of the team. He is bringing in a winning mindset. He seems to be very relatable and funny in all of his interviews, and all the things he brings is going to take the pressure off of Tua, and I think he can go out there and have a career year this following season, which is going to bring them to instant playoff contention to this Dolphins team, who is in a very difficult division with the Bills and the Patriots. But let me know what you guys think. I absolutely love this hire for the Dolphins, and of course we can talk about the Brian Flores situation when everything gets settled, but I want to talk in absolutes when everything comes out and all the truths are laid out in front of us. But I absolutely love this hire for them. There was a lot of names revolving around, but I think Mike McDaniels was the absolute perfect choice for this team. I think he's going to bring in a great culture. I think he's going to fix their run game. They're going to give a lot more protection to Tua, and the way they're going to be able to use Jaylen Waddle is going to be very similar, but different on how they use Deebo Samuel. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like this video if you like videos like these. Make sure to comment down below what you think about this coaching hire, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you so much for checking out the channel, and as always, I will see you all tomorrow. Peace!